Hey, you can see the title of my show is Choices and Consequences. And I wanted to talk about a couple of things um, on a national level. I like to say this, and metaphorically speaking, but actually, literally speaking, you cannot expect the police to police themselves. If you look at where the Supreme Court Chief Justice Roberts decided not to investigate Clarence Thomas, and then come to find out another Supreme Court justice did the exact same thing, but not as bad or as blatantly uh, as Clarence Thomas. Justice Thomas did. I think it's Gorsuch. He sold property also and did not disclose. So my point of it is that the reason why a person would not police themselves is that because they themselves are doing the same thing, need policing. I don't think that anybody should get a lifetime position at anything. I think that all positions should have term limits, and I think that'll do away with all the corruption. Even though it's a democracy where you vote people's in, say the House of Representatives, I think they have an election every 2 years, or they get the position for 6 years, somebody else 4 years. However it is, I think that it need to be just term limits, no more than 2 terms. If you hadn't got it right the first or the second time, there's no way you need a third time to get it right. I think that anytime a person go into a new position, that you need to learn your job. You need to learn what that job is, and they have policies and procedures. They have rules, regulations, and laws that you can read. If you're astute enough to be able to read and interpret what you read, then you should be able to do a job just by following those rules, those regulations, and those laws, those ethics. And so, but they don't do that. They get in there and they listen to big money. This is no longer a democracy. I think um, because they don't listen to the people. They do everything to the people, and but they don't listen to the people anymore. And I tell you what, all groups of people look at us, black people. So black people don't vote. And so, so if a person run for public office, they're gonna have to go out and reach out to the other communities because black people do not vote. It's not. I don't even understand it. We are among the most complacent, falling in line, not caring, nonchalant people. How did we get like that? How did the former kings and queens and astronomers and scientists and philosophers get to the point where they don't want to do anything productive for themselves? And that's sad. But again, consequences, choices and consequences, meaning that when you choose something, whatever you choose to do, there's going to be a consequence to your action. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And there's consequences to every action. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, there's always consequences to your action. And when you're young, you had a tendency to just do things and not think about the things that you do. And as you begin to age, and if life allow for you to mature, because some people age and they don't get mature, they don't become mature. And so you will learn to do more listening than talking, because you know that sometimes you say things, those things will come back and haunt you. I see where the Young family tore down the Young Hotel, paid for it themselves, but according to the WTOK News, that's in Meridian, Mississippi. Those of you that are from Meridian know who the Young family are. Veldora Young Graham is a county judge, a juvenile court judge. I think she's a senior judge in that position in Lauderdale County. Um, Charles Young Jr. is a state representative representing parts of the state of Mississippi, including parts of Lauderdale County. And so this Young family, Young Hotel, EF Young Manufacturing, owns several properties and hotels, a lot of properties and hotels throughout Mississippi, especially in the Meridian area, a lot of that kind of area. They tore that down, and it's kind of sad in a sense when you see what's going on. Is that they didn't tear down the Lamar building. They propped that thing up, and I think they got maybe something in the creek. They keep the creek. I think it's built on top of a creek, but they propped it up. I don't know whether they got all the asbestos out of it. But the thing of it is that They didn't do that for us. They even Marx Rothenberg, everything, the old Opera House, all that stuff has been revived. Newberry's Crest's, J.C. Penney used to be in the old Marx Rothenberg, which is now MSU. And so my point is that they have taken their history and preserved it, and we have preserved their history for them while we have not preserved our own history. In a lot of cases, such as in Egypt, they are preserving our history. I think the Emmett Till Trail is being preserved by white folk, and so you have a case where white people are preserving our history and telling our story, and that's sad because can nobody tell your story better than you? But we are missing in action. We're not doing that. Gentrification, I talked about that. Urban renewal is black removal. This is gentrification. Gentrify is when you take a property that is depressed, that's worthless, and you tear it down or you renovate it or you remove it and put something else there, but you put something there that's upscale and very expensive. What it does, it takes you price it out of the market for the common folk, for black folk and poor folk. Well, only wealthy folks can come in there and do that. That's what they mean by gentrification. So you can see that's going on in Meridian, Mississippi. All of Fifth Street is gone. You know, Cal Meets Beauty College. That was a beauty college by Miss Cal Meets. Had Cal Meets Beauty Salon. She had a college there where she instructed females to get their beautician license, and I think barber license too. They had all that on Fifth Street. They don't have any of that. And they had the HBAB, that's the Hollywood Benevolent Association. They had that funeral home downtown, the Field Brooks Drug. So all of that is gone. Jenkins Barbershop, the only thing still standing now is that little section right there, is Bucky's Place. And if I'm not mistaken, the Youngs own a portion of that building too, but Bucky owned that little corner. You can own sections of building. You don't have to own all of that building, but everything else is gone. George Pool Room, everything's gone. The KVA building, which used to be the old firehouse, and a matter of fact, the first club was called the Firehouse. And so all that and all of that is gone. That's our history. See, when you erase our history, when you erase a history, then there's no story to be told. And when the person that know the story dies, then that story dies with that person. And we don't preserve our history. This is a self-indictment. And so I was talking to a person, a white guy over the phone. I was talking to him over the phone. And one of the things in our casual conversation, they just came out and said, Black people don't vote. I couldn't even say anything. How is it that they know what I know? See, they know that we don't vote, and they've been knowing that for a long time. And hey, um, I can't say that. I can say this is that there's no way Jimmy Smith could be mayor without our vote, but definitely needed their vote too. And as my peer group uh, died, go away, Jimmy Smith and people like him gonna have to reach more and more across the aisle and make concessions for them so that they can get if they want the job. But even though we're in a majority situation where the majority of the population is black, but the majority of the population does not vote. Perhaps sometimes, and most of the time, it's no fault of their own. I hear Tool Belt saying, "There you go, brother. There you go." But Tool Belt, you gotta hear this out. Is that when you take a person and you give them an inferior education, when you take them and you single them out, and you single them out like say profiling, racial profiling, when you single a group, and that group is us. And when you look at a group that only constitute only 13% of the U.S. population, but over 51% of the U.S. prison population, is something wrong with that picture. And I was reading an article where it's getting ready to come out on, I don't know, one of these streaming services. I don't know whether it's HBO or Netflix. This guy here was an informant for the FBI, and he infiltrated the Ku Klux Klan. He said the Ku Klux Klan has infiltrated the local police, the local sheriff department, even federal government. They have infiltrated, and of course, this ain't nothing new to us. It's new to some of you out there, but I know it all the time. We already know that. The reason why I know that because you can tell when you go before a judge, or you go before, or you get arrested by a police officer, and that police officer treats you in a manner that's disrespectful. disrespectful, or he kill you or kill somebody you know, or that police officer have what they call police discretion. They don't have to arrest you. They can give you a warning. But in almost all cases, when they come in contact with us, we don't get the warning. Not even when they hit us upside the head with the stick. We always get treated heavy-handedly. So then it would imply that we're the ones that's committing all the crime. No, no, no. Only thing that implies is that we're the only one. We're the focus. They're focusing on us. We don't think I'm inarticulate when I say things. I'm just talking about things, and you hear a lot of things now about transgender, gender identification, uh, gender reorientation surgery, and these kind of things. And I wanted to touch on that a little bit, and then we can get back to talking about us and how we are. But first of all, I want to invite you to, hey, share this video. Tell someone about it. Call now and tell them, hey, watch Eddie. Reaching out with Eddie. Um, um, also, we'll get back to that because it's always about us. When I'm talking about us, I'm the one that's gonna educate you and tell you things that you need to know in order to live a good life, a better life. Perhaps not experience so many oppressive incidents in your life, or how to do things in such a way so that you can be okay. Folks, I can look at me. I want you guys to leave your comments on reaching out with Eddie at yahoo.com. Also, we're on Facebook as Reaching Out with Eddie, and we also have a webpage, Reaching Out with Eddie. So I want you guys to leave your comments in the chats, and I will read the chats myself, and I answer any question. And I wanted to talk about this transgender thing. I went into research because I was curious. If I'm a man and I change myself to a woman, what physiological changes would my body go through? Would I look the same? If I say that I feel like I'm a woman and I want to change myself into a woman, then if what would happen to me if I done that? On the same token, if I am a woman and I feel like that I am a man, that I was born a woman, but I identify with a man, that I have the wrong gender identity on my body, but in my head, I'm female. What would it be like if I went through that transgender surgery and take everything and change it to female? What would that be like? And so that's what I'm going to tell you now. What would it be like if first we're gonna say if I am a woman, say that I'm a gay man and that I have that I have been in a gay relationship for the last 15 or 20 years. And so I don't need to go into details to tell you what gay men do. And so I want to be a female so I can get the full experience of a woman. Well, how about what they would do is that they would take and they would remove your thing. They would take and remove it off. They would cut it and change it into a vulva, to a vagina. And they would create a hole up in there to be used, and the people that done this surgery says that it's unnatural. It doesn't feel right. They have to go back to being penetrated from the rear to get a feeling or to have the orgasmic experience, because even though they're laying up there and going through the motion, there's no feeling in that. It does secrete. It is the same secretion that comes out of the male organ with that same spot, but not there would be no semen, none of that, because the balls, the person has been castrated, and so there's no semen on that male that became a female. It has to take hormones in order for the breast to grow and things like that. They go and they take fat from other parts of the body and make tits and things like that. And the member that they put on the body looks funny because it looks like it's coming out of the stomach as opposed to coming out of the area it's supposed to be in. And if you wanted to, if any of you out there, and the reason I'm telling that because a lot of you hear so much in the news about gender identification, they always have this big thing where the media create the news for you and the next best thing for you. Before you go and do something like that, you really need to do your research and know what people are saying that have done something like that. And this is females. They don't feel anything. And males have a thing that they cannot use. They cannot use it. It does not work at all. And it look funny. It's in a funny looking place. That's what's funny looking in a funny looking place. And the females doesn't get any feeling either. And so the female they'll created something that she can't even use. It's just a limp noodle that she can't use or anything like that. So they still have to use the same toys and things like that. And so I kind of like wanted to tell you guys those things so that you know. And so we've talked about that gender a realignment surgery, whatever you want to call it. But I think that I think these are mental issues that need to be discussed, whether it's with a family member or a counselor. And there's nothing wrong with a person choosing to be gay if they want to be, transsexual, or whatever it is that they want to do. That's choice. I'm pro-choice. Choose to be what you want to be. And hey, I'm proud of any choice that anybody make. But before you go and start cutting things off that God put there or biologically happened through the gestation process, you need to really, really do your research. That's all I'm saying about that. And don't let other people tell you probably what you should and should not do. Do your research yourself and find people that done that. They create that hole. They don't even use it because it's so uncomfortable. It's almost like stabbing yourself with something but not bleeding. If the research I did, it feels very uncomfortable for them to engage in that. While it may be fulfilling for their mate, it's not fulfilling for them at all. And in some cases, painful. And of course, the woman that changed herself to a male end up with something that's just there. It's just mostly cosmetic and it doesn't look that good because in most cases it's in the wrong place. It's like, I guess, like a doorknob on a door or something like that, and does not work. It does not work at all. Okay, enough of that. I want to get back again and I want to. I know that some of you may not know this, and some of you may have known this. Is that I want to talk about politics just a little bit, and the reason why I want to talk about politics just a little bit is because um, people are running for office now. I don't know that Donald Trump will make it or not. I don't think that he will. I think that he really needs to be the president of the United States. Too bad. Said, bro, what in the world are you talking about? No, not for our sakes, but for his sake. Because if he gets in there again, then things will be worse than before. Because he's the type of person that seeks revenge. He's going to go out and get everybody that done something to him or tried to put him in jail if he gets to be president of the United States. Even if he's indicted, there's nothing in the Constitution to stop him from to continue to run to be United States. I don't know whether if you have a felony record or not. I don't even know whether that. But of course, on this next podcast, I'll let you know whether or not a person that's convicted of a felony can be president of the United States. Most public office bar you once you become convicted of a felony. One of the things that they do in order to disenfranchise you is say that if you've been convicted of a felony, you cannot vote. Folks, come on, give me some reasoning in that shit. How does that? How does one thing? Even if you're in jail in some countries, they still let you vote. Now, how can you equate a person getting in trouble with the law not being able to vote for things that's going to affect him, his life, and his family? Because the people in the office determine how prisons are built, where they're built, how what kind of fundings for that prison, how they're treated, the staffing, and everything. So I think everybody should be able to vote once they get a certain age. And that's just my opinion. And in all fairness, and usually these disenfranchised laws are weighed heavily toward us black people. Um, I wanted to talk about in the Kemper County Sheriff Department, you have Michael Ted Evans, who's a representative, a state representative that's not going to run for that office anymore and feel like that he'll better serve the community being sheriff of Kemper County. And I'm going to be inclined to agree with that. I think that once a person been in office a long period of time, I think that they should not be in there any longer. I'm an advocate of term limits. One, no more than two. I think after two terms, I think you need to get up out of that job, because I think that's a lot of the problems that we're having. Maxine Water and whatever, Dianne Feinstein, Mitch McConnell, these people are too old to be in office. I know it too, but I said, what about the president? Yes, he's too old to be running for president of the United States. We need a younger, more progressive minded individual in that office, irregardless of race, creed, or color. That's my point. um, Kamala Harris shouldn't be no kind of president, not even president of the bank or union. She just does not have charisma. She's not a leader. I don't know how they picked her, but I think that was a bad match. I don't think that. I think that Biden will be reelected. I think that Kamala Harris will run for vice president. I mean, for president of the United States, and she'll get her clock clean. And the Republicans will take over again. But it's kind of like a single party thing. And just tell me what quality of life changed for anybody, regardless of what party's actually in there, because they all done sold out to big business, to lobbyists, to bank, to the money. They all following the money. They're not doing anything. They're not pulling the most qualified person in my position. Opinion is not getting the job. I think the most qualified person usually don't get the job, and I think it's hurting this country. We don't build things here anymore. We're not educating our children, and so what do we expect our tomorrows to be? And the U.S. can't just vilify one race, one group of people. The reason why I say that is because when you vilify one group of people, that people is still a part of the whole. You understand? Each part, the sum total, each part creates the whole. So when you vilify black people and don't educate them, that's somebody. Look at Frederick Douglass, Martin Luther King. Look at those ladies that helped get the first rocket to the moon. I mean, wow, these are black people. So if you look at the person that invented the traffic light, the air conditioner, so many things, even the cotton gin. I don't think he got witness to. I know he got the name, but he wasn't picking no cotton. He don't care. He was beef slaves. He wasn't trying to give them ice water and Kool-Aid. So probably some black person built it and he took it from. That's just my opinion. And because your opinion is different. And just like Christopher Columbus discovered America. Yeah, right. No, he did not. But I I I I, uh, I keep picking up my notes. Oh yeah, got to get back to this. Um, and I think he would. One of the things that I wanted to point out in the Kemper County Sheriff Department is that they had a deputy by the name of Gowdy that was fired by the sheriff of Kemper County. But here's my problem with that. Now, why is that didn't go into the news? I didn't see it too bad. I know you said, bro, did you look in the news? Yeah, I didn't see it. And so it's not there. So you have a deputy, last name Gowdy, and you can Google his first name. Just look at the roster who used to be sheriffs at Kemper County Sheriff. The sheriff fired him, but the sheriff didn't arrest him because, see, I think from what I understand, a grandmother saw a sheriff deputy car parked at her granddaughter's house 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, too, Bell. And she called the sheriff department, want to know why this deputy's car at a 16-year-old granddaughter's house. Now, in the state of Alabama, a 16-year-old give consent, but in the state of Mississippi, a 16-year-old cannot give consent. She can, but to a 17, 18, and a 19-year-old. So that deputy is not 19 years old. That deputy committed statutory rape, bundling of a minor, whatever other kind of charge he's doing. That's the reason why we need change. See, things like that, sweep it under the rug, and then this guy go and get a job somewhere else and get to do that to somebody else's child. So no, that's the reason why you need Michael Todd Evans. I know, get mad at me. I don't care. I don't like how Fred Welch is being treated. Fred Welch is not being treated fairly. I know that he's also having problems, seem to be trying to contact his attorney, getting his attorney to do things. That's something that we'll talk about later, but it's nothing that we're going to talk about now. But I do know that Fred Welch picked up a charge more in 17, folks, in 17, an arson charge in 2017. Arson of an automobile not his, insurance not in his name, claim not paid. In other words, there's no injury. But Sheriff Moore keep pushing this. That's the when you can tell a person been in office too long, when you use your position to try to hurt another person for perhaps some reason that ain't got nothing to do with breaking the law, but using a government procedure in order to make a person suffer and lose his freedom in life, and that's bad. And it's bad, period, no matter who do it. It ain't even so bad when other black people do it. You know why? Because we always doing it to each other. And we shouldn't. And we need to stop that. And so, but again, you got a sheriff deputy that was fired in Kemper County, I'm told. They could have just placed him on leave too, but you know how they do things. Place him on leave. Next thing you know, they get another job somewhere else. Again, I want you guys to leave your comments or something you want to know. I'll do my best to try to find it out for you. You got Ward Calhoun and Ricky Roberts. I know too, but so you talk about this every week. Yeah. You know what too bad I was thinking about when we were growing up, we were never told that we could run for public office. Even when I was in my early 20s, I'm not the individual you see today is not the individual that you seen in the 20s. Because if I knew that I could run for public office, I would have did what Terry Rogers second did. That boy was raised right, and he was told, and he's informed at 18 he's running for public office. And I always thought maybe that you had to have some kind of special qualification for these positions. Even into my late adulthood, I thought that until I became political and start finding these things out for myself. I always voted, but I never did have any inclination of running for public office. And so, like, I thought the qualification for public office, that's the reason why I always thought maybe the reason why these white folks got these jobs, they had these degrees. I did not know all the coroner needed was a high school education. Seemed like you should have a degree in science at least, a medical pathologist or something, but none of that is required to be a pathologist, to be a justice court judge. All you need is a high school education. You're going to judge people live. They don't even ask for a new high school education. They ask for a high school education that people be done got a high school education in the 1960s and 1970s, the equivalent of a fifth grade education in 2023. People, I'm just telling you the truth. So this is what you got here in the state of Mississippi because I guess they were fearful of people coming in with college education and taking over. So they passed these positions on. And so I'm gonna tell y'all what's gonna happen. Andre Harris gonna resign. Yeah, he's gonna resign. He's gonna resign just like Robert Robinson did him. And I talked to Robert Robinson. He done that. He hated it. They tricked him into doing that. Resign, just run long enough to keep Eddie Hope from getting the job. Oh, I would have been a stellar judge. A lot of y'all wouldn't experience some of the things that you experienced. A lot of the things, the city and the county would have been totally different with me. I'm gonna tell you what Ike Brown told me. He said, you don't want to be a justice court judge. He said, because as a justice court judge, they got too many ways of coming in there and get you. They'll set you up with one of them white girls. That's what he said. I didn't care to hear that because in order for me to be set up, I'm gonna have to allow for them to set up person to come toward me to set me up because I understand what the rules, the laws, and everything is, and I would have had an impeccable office. I would have done a good job. But no, I don't think the people that are now are doing a good job. I think that they're not a people's court judge. They're not for the people, not at all. And that's what's wrong with the justice court judges in the state of Mississippi. That's wrong with the state of Mississippi. It's one of the most uneducated states in the United States. We're at the top when it comes to bad shit. We're at the bottom when it comes to good shit. That's our reputation. That's our claim for fame in the state of Mississippi. I want to talk about choices and consequences. I know everything is about consequences, and that's what I'm gonna let you guys know, that when you make choices to do something, then make sure you make a good choice. And like sometimes choices that we make are life changing and take a long time for you to correct. I want to say this before I go any further. I tell you, there's been ups and there's been downs in my life. But I can tell you that every time, it's kind of like the footprints in the sand. I can tell you that every time there's been downs in my life, boy, it ain't just been one set of footprints in the sand. It's been a whole bunch of them in the sand, making sure I'm okay. And I gotta tell you about that oldest child of mine, Tracy. Boy, when she hears something, she don't judge me. My daughter love like I love. She love unconditionally. She said, "Daddy." I said, "Well, baby." She said, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yes, I'm okay." She said, "That's all." And then, you know how they be talking on Charlie Brown Tube Bell? Well, hear that talk for the next 5 minutes, cause that BBGBBGB and say, and so that's the talk. In other words, what we talked about ain't nothing I'm gonna disclose. But I go say this is that my baby was very concerned and she didn't judge me. And I love that about my daughter. She don't judge me, but she got my back, but I'm telling you, she's there for me. I gotta tell you about my that damn tube belt. But I'm telling you, now I'm the oldest. Now he was born stronger than me and faster than me, and I know y'all seen him walk. But even with his leg like that, he's still stronger than me. And I'm telling you, I'm talking about right here. My brother is a strong black man, probably stronger than me right here too. I know y'all see that going right there. But I gotta tell y'all my joke about my auntie. Then I get back to this. She said, "You need to put something on your arm." Now, if y'all see the video, that's my Aunt Emma. I said she's 97, but she'll be 97 next month. Well, June the 4th, she'll be 97 years old. And she still get around and everything. And so but anyway, she say, "You need to get something on your arm." I said, "It's hot outside." She said, "Look," she said, "You ain't older than me. I know." She said, "Now you get to get something on your arm, don't you go get, you done came down with the flu before you know it." I said, "I need to show these guns." She said, "I don't see I don't see nothing." I say, I said, "You ain't close enough to see him." And then I went like so. She said, "Yeah, come a little closer so I can kick your ass." I just started laughing at her and everything. But these are the kind of things. My aunt is so fun, and I'm having such a good time with her and everything. But she said, and you ought to seen how she did her eyes when she said that. But she really appreciate the things that I do and being there with, make sure she okay, make sure she eating things like that. But I want to get back to telling you about the strength in my family. From the females in my family are strong. I'm telling you, boy. I tell you, boy, that my daughter Jade is getting ready to graduate. She's strong. She got her daddy back, and so does Katara, my daughter Rhea, my daughter, all my daughters, Leah, Arizona, they got my back. And I really appreciate that. But I have to single out the oldest one because she's like the leader in the clan under me over her sisters and brothers. And I want to say this, and when I start talking about consequences and everything, and I want to talk about loyalty. And reason why I want to talk about loyalty, folks, a lot of people don't understand what loyalty is. How did you find that door? That was my daughter. She came in here, opened the door, and then left it. And then I could hear her. And so, but anytime, and that's kind of like a little distraction now. But I want to talk about loyalty, folks. Let me tell you what loyalty is. Loyalty is not, say, like, if you tell me something and I go tell somebody else. Well, that ain't nothing but just spreading rumors or running your mouth too much. But loyalty is when you stand by a person. When somebody try to hurt say your brother, your sister, your dad, your mother, you don't allow for that to happen. And if somebody hurt your brother or your sister or your family member or something like that, you interfere with that. You intervene with that. You stop that. You don't allow for that person to hurt your dad or your mother, your sister, your brother. That's loyalty. Loyalty is when you know something about a person. I ain't talking about know that they put two left shoes on their foot or they peed in the bed. I'm not talking about that. That something like, say that person robbed a bank and you didn't tell nobody. That's loyalty. When somebody come and get you and want you to do something to that person and you don't do it, that's loyalty. When that person get in trouble and you standing there, you don't care whether that person that you standing by, whether he's the worst kind of person to the whole world. He's not the worst kind of person to you because that's your daddy, or that's your mama, or that's your sister, or that's your brother, or that's your damn best friend. That's what loyalty about. Trust is when somebody leave you with something and you go back to it. It is them when you come back. Now that's trust. So loyalty and trust is every damn thing to me. You understand that? Let's talk about men and let's talk about women. Now, I'm a man. I'm a Superman. I'm a goddamn superhero. I mean, I do everything in my family. I'm Mr. Mom. I know Miss Dad. That's Tony Owens. Tony's Miss Dad. That girl build everything. She build her children toys. If the instructions is so she can't understand it, she'll go and Google that shit and do it. She gonna take her children where she goes. She gonna cook for them. She gonna clean for them. She ain't gonna let nobody hurt her children. I understand that because that's how I am toward mine. I ain't gonna let nobody hurt my family. I gotta say this too, man. Boy, that man, I call it Triple T for Tony the Tiger. And two butter attest to this. Man, I promise you, and so my partner Fred, he'll tell you this. Every single time. And she always got my back. I appreciate that. For that, Triple T, I want to say thank you. Having my back. She always do. I'm talking about no matter what I go through. Boy, I'm telling you, I know I make that nigga so mad sometimes. She be want to get a, if she could whoop me too, but she'll probably come and just whoop me down, but she can't whoop me. Cause y'all see them guns, they still there. I know what y'all saying. What? That, look, ooh, that's how I looked too well when I was in my 20s. Ooh, let me make it tight. Ooh, boy. I just had to do that. But anyway, yeah, so for that, I want to thank her for that. She always having my back. She's that person that cooked the cornbread that you like too well, you know, that'll get in the ditches with you, help you do this and help you do that. Ain't nobody perfect, you know that, and I ain't perfect, but Tony always perfect when she come in. She always come in. So thanks, Tony. Well, thank you for that. I gotta thank you too, Fred. It's been time. Fred like a brother to me. I ain't like. I mean, like I ain't gotta do my calling, man. It's people that I can call. They'll stop doing what they doing. Now y'all know too, but will. Now that Fred, he will, man. For both of y'all, I want to thank y'all for that. I tell you, boy, that Two Belt got a wife that's just one in a million. That's that's Miss Penny Two Belt. Boy, I'm telling you. But that's a strong black woman, boy. She is strong. And I want to thank her just for being my sister-in-law. I'm telling you. Now I know some of you other sister-in-laws I ain't got a problem with us, but that's my but she's that's the ride or die right there. She's 100. And so I want to get back to that. And I'm gonna read y'all comments and then Rhea, come here. Rhea, come on over here. Rhea, what you want to say? You got anything to say to the people? Anything you want to say? You don't want to see that hair, do you? She having a bad hair day, y'all. I ain't even fit to tell you she had. She looked like Nadia Turner. I think her name Nadia Turner. I think that's her name from American Idol from I think from the 90s or something like that. Nah, just kidding. From American Idol. From American Idol, yeah. Nadia Turner with that thing on her head. Her look like I can just grab it and pull it off. Y'all seen that movie Zootopia? The lamb that was the assistant mayor, Miss Bedwetter, whatever name. Yeah, Miss Bedwetter. I think that was her name. Only her was white. That's where red hair, but it's black. Like remember when the fox wanted to pull it off? That's what I want to reach and pull it off. I'm finna read y'all comments and then we're gonna close out. You know. Listen at Derek. Derek, man, you sure right. When it start beeping, folks, when you smoke the tip start beeping, that means that you need to change the battery. The battery that done got dead. You can't beat you. I don't have any comments, so I'm gonna get ready to close out. Let me see how long I've been out. That's good. I had on a 39 minute show. remember consequences and action and everything. And everybody's responsible for their actions and things like that. If my relationship changed with you, it's not because of what somebody else did. It's you did what you did. You are responsible for you. Just remember that. Y'all have a good evening. See y'all next Thursday.